Okay, so we're back again, and we just started what is an output, right? And we said that, after the inputs come in, it takes this data, turns it in information. Now we have an output. So here we go. How is that output displayed? That's really all this section is about. So we talk about display devices, right? And so, really we just call it a display, right? But the book will call it a display device. It's an output device that usually conveys this text, this graphics, this video information, whatever our data is, into a form that we can read, and it puts it on a screen. Now, a screen is a generic term for displays of all sorts, right? Screen on your phone, you're on your computer, your TV screen, right? It's an embedded display of some sort, right? A cinema or projector type screen would be another one, right? And from here we monitor, right? So what does monitor mean? Refers specifically to the computer peripheral that incorporates the actual screen. So there are some examples of displays listed here. Traditionally, laptops have a display that attaches on the hinge to a case. Tablets are available really with two types of displays. One that attaches with a hinge and one built into the top of the case that can often be removed, right? And sometimes swivel. So lots of ways to do displays. Now, a monitor, right, which incorporates all of it, including the screen. Monitor's resolution provides the screen's length times width, but it does so in terms of pixels. So the more pixels you can pack into a square inch of a monitor, the more realistic and the smoother the image. And then there's a high resolution monitor, right? QHD or better. This is important if you want the monitor that's bigger. You really want one of those. So in terms of monitors, we talk about in quality response time. Response time is the time it takes your monitor to shift from one color to another. Usually, this is measured in terms of going from black to white and back to black again. That was a song. In terms of milliseconds, right? So a typical LCD response time is under 10 milliseconds, right? We would know that to abbreviate that as 10 ms from a previous lesson. So with some being faster, as fast as even 1 millisecond on a 27-inch screen. That's pretty fast. It's pretty good. Now, most current graphics cards feature a digital video interface, or DVI connector, they call it. And this is for connecting a digital flat panel like an LCD monitor or a projector to a card. So the DVI connector is making that connection. It's characteristically colored white, as opposed to like a VGA connector is often color-coded blue, for example. And then there's HDMI, or we know it as high definition media input. And this is the go-to port really for all of our modern devices. It works on both video and audio. In addition, most of our computers have HDMI capability. So what's neat is I can use my HDMI cable to hook my PC into my TV. I've got a 70-inch TV. I actually use it as my monitor most of the time. It's awesome. So then we have a display port. A display port is a digital interface now, but this is designed to deliver that video and audio over a single cable. So it's like an HDMI, and it can convert a monitor to a data source, like some graphics card, and it can deliver video and sound that it's outputting to the display screen. Another term that comes up in the readings is DTV, which is digital television. This digital television, or DTV, is the transmission of television audiovisual signals using a digital encoding. So this is in contrast to earlier analog television, which used analog signals, of course. Now we're using digital signals on a DTV, digital television. And then finally, I just wanted to note HDTV. This is that digital TV broadcasting format where the broadcast transmits widescreen pictures with much more detail and quality than was found in those old analog televisions, right? And other digital type television formats. So types of HD TV displays include direct view, plasma, rear screen, and front screen projection. That's really all you need to know about that. You could look those up for more detail if those interest you. Now, I did want to touch on LCD. LCD is a liquid crystal display. This sandwiches the liquid compound between two sheets that gives a sharp, flicker-free image. Love that. There is a backlight either on it, right? An LED is a backlight. It's a light-emitting diode. That's LED. Sometimes instead of an LED, they use a CCFL or cold cathode fluorescent lamp. But either way, there's a backlight to an LCD, that liquid crystal display. Now, there's the liquid LCD liquid crystal display is that method of displaying these readings, these digital items, continuously with clarity, right? So you'll see them on portable computers and calculators and other things, right? For mobile computers, there's the term AMOLED, AMOLED, which is for, I forget what the A is for, but it's mobile LED, right? It's for your mobile computers. Printers are also an output device. This is a hardware output device that is used to generate a hard copy, people often refer to it as. And so in that hard copy, you're printing any document, right? This hard copy document can be any type, such as a text file, an image, or even a combination. Now, they now have 2D printers, two-dimensional, that are used to print text and graphics on a paper. And better, now there are 3-dimensional printers that are used to create 3-dimensional physical objects. You can actually build the object with the printer. Now, many printers have memory attached to them, so you can even take your card, your memory card, out of your camera if you want, your digital camera, put it in the printer, and print the pictures from there. I know Walmart used to do this. I assume they still do. And of course, printers can be wireless or Bluetooth printing capability. Now, there are non-impact printers. A non-impact printer is a printer that prints without banging on a ribbon, bam, 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 into the paper. So laser, LED, inkjet, solid ink, thermal wax transfer, and dye sublimation. Those are printers. Those are examples of printers that are non-impacting. That's really all you need to know about that. They're non-impacting printers. Now, one of those is the inkjet printer, right? So you can think of an inkjet printer very simply as a firing squad of nozzles, bam, 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 rattling off millions of dots of ink at the paper every single second. Quality in terms of this is described as DPI, or dots per inch. And so a dot is that drop of ink. Basically, the higher the DPI, the better the quality, because you get more drops are placed in a smaller area for your use. Continue with printers. A printer designed to print on extremely white photo paper. Photo paper that is coated, right, to keep the ink from smearing, and that makes for great pictures. Okay. Then we have a laser printer, right? This is a high quality, non-impact printer, again. And the machine uses laser to create images. And the laser beam and this powered ink come together. We call those combined, the laser beam and the powered ink, we call it toner, is the name given to that. Now, here's a picture of a laser printer. Most of us have seen these around the office. Most of us don't have them at home, but they're getting cheaper, and some of us may have one at home. It is possible now. So then there's the all-in-one printer, just like we had an all-in-one monitor. Here's an all-in-one printer. It's also called a multi-function printer, or sometimes just MFP. So when you think of the phrase all-in-one printer, what comes to mind, right? High-resolution photos? Possibly. maybe sheet after sheet of business reports or kids' school activities, maybe, most likely. Maybe scanning, faxing, Wi-Fi compatible, right? That's right. All of those. Today's multifunction printers, and now I sound like a commercial, also known as all-in-ones, are capable, or multifunction printer, are capable of almost anything you need for your home or business. That's the good news. I will share, the bad news is, and it doesn't happen very often, is that when these go down, you lose all of the functions. Now, I did touch on a 3D printer, but just to go on just a little bit more about it, 3D printer essentially works by exuding or emitting molten plastic through a tiny nozzle, and it's going to move it around precisely under the computer's control. So it's very, very precise. And it prints one layer, then it waits for it to dry, then it prints another layer on top of that and waits for it to dry, etc. So 3D printing is used in manufacture molds. It even is used now to make jewelry. It's becoming very popular for customizable gifts, right? You could print a mug, right? A special mug. Art, dolls, many other shapes in metal and plastic. Even 3D printed chocolate. It's a dream, right? But it has another high-end side. It will make prosthetics, and it will make ribs, as you see in the picture on the slide. It's very exciting, really. Then there's a thermal printer. Thermal printers are most commonly used to print items such as receipts and shipping labels. So what happens is the thermal printer transfers, the thermal printer, it uses this thermal print head. And it's going to transfer this solid ink from a ribbon onto a label, right? And that's going to produce a permanent print, right, using this thermal energy. And so a gas station receipt would be a good example, or your kiosk at the grocery store of a thermally printed receipt. Then there are mobile printers, right? These are popular. And another reason for USB ports on our mobile devices, like a laptop. Some are even wireless, which is nice. Of course, we have label printers. This is a computer printer that prints on self-adhesive label material, right, like some cardstock. And the label printer with built-in capability can be standalone, or you can just have a label maker. It'll print your QR codes, for example, as a potential label. We also have plotters. Plotters are huge, and you can read more about this on page 7-32 if you use plotters at work. Interesting. Now, I did want to touch finally on impact printers. These are printers that work by creating direct contact, bam, 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 between the ink, ribbon, and the paper. Really, they're noisy, yet they are popular. The impact printers have these mechanical moving parts to conduct the printing. A dot matrix printer would be an example of this, or a daisy wheel printer, or sometimes a line printer. If you don't recognize those terms, that's okay. This is becoming history, but still has its uses in maybe an industrial environment. Just to close this out, there are a few other output devices out there, including speakers. The book covers those pretty easily. Headphones and earbuds are some others to consider, and the various uses and the reasons why. There's also a data projector. Right, page 734 of the book covers that. The interactive smartboard used in schoolrooms, covered pretty easily, with joysticks and etc. I did want to jump ahead and just cover this. Assistive technology, right? This is technology used by individuals with disabilities in order to perform functions that might otherwise be difficult for them. In fact, the Americans with Disabilities Act, or ADA, requires companies of 15 or more employees to make reasonable attempts to accommodate the needs of physically challenged workers. So I was at a winery this past week and noticed Braille on the bottom of the wine bottle. And I thought, wow, how great. Okay, that's it for chapter 7.